What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only, Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's happening today, buddy? Happy Friday.
Yes, we're heading into Friday. Looking forward to the weekend.
Oh.
All right, I gotta get the Rebecca Black out of my head.
That's man, you lit up Discord this morning. It was hilarious. I was like, what is all this going on? And everybody's like, yeah, this and like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, yeah, that was good. Dude, a little PSA off the top. We are going to be live for 24 hours. We're back again with Big Brothers Big Sisters on September 17th to the 18th, where we're going to be playing 24 games in 24 hours, raising money and awareness for a great cause. Make sure you stop by over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, where you should be joining us right now, as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us there, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. You know how it is. Scott, we got a pretty good show today. That's for sure, man. Sea of Thieves is bigger now than its original launch. 3 years later after its launch, dude, it is now bigger than it was then. Cyberpunk has a new update with free content. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that one as well. And Scarlet Witch is coming to Marvel's Avengers that was found in a glitch within the new War of Wakanda DLC update.
Nothing escapes these people nowadays. You can hide that code as far as you can in the game. Doesn't matter. Somebody's gonna find it.
I read the article, dude. It's a weird glitch with Thor. Thor just happened to walk in and talk to somebody, and boom, it was just, yeah. We'll get into that article too, but dude, there's lots on the go today, so why don't we get started? Because Sea of Thieves broke its player records in June. Sea of Thieves officially broke its record player count in June, 3 years after Microsoft Studios published the open world High Seas adventure game. According to a statement published by Sea of Thieves website, ships on the Sea of Thieves waters were at a record-breaking level in June this year, with over 4.8 million players turning in on the game. Dude, executive producer Joe Neate said that the studio was bowled over from the response to the Sea of Thieves community, which has returned in mass of the release of the Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. From your reactions on social media to your fan art and stories of exploring the new tall tales, it's been amazing. And all this excitement results in our busiest ever month on the seas, with June seeing 4.8 million active pirates out on the water, said Joe Neate. Dude, that is 3 years later, Scott. The game is now setting new records.
Still going very strong. Not that there was much doubt, but the game has been kicking around for 3 years now. A lot of people, I'm sure, jumped in and then kind of jumped out. But yeah, this new DLC was very inspiring. I was even hyped on that, and I wasn't necessarily a fan of the game at the time.
That's well, when it first launched like 3 years ago, right? Everybody's talking about this pirate life, and I remember everybody jumped on it and then quickly fell off. Just because, you know, games of service, they launch and they're often empty. There's not enough to keep everybody going, right? There was pretty bare bones. Over the last 3 years, though, Rare, and working on Sea of Thieves, has added more and more and more content. And then the latest DLC, A Pirate's Life, dude, brought in Jack Sparrow. We all jumped on. I was in it. Kyle was in it. We were there hanging out, doing the season, doing the new tales. It was awesome. I got to get back to finish it. I've been pulled away just for all of our shows that we're working on, so I haven't been able to get back to it. But at the same time, it's one of those things that it's on my radar to get back to, and I can see why people love this game. It's a beautiful game. It plays really, really well. It's a ton of fun. It's chaos when you jump in there with your friends, and it's one of those, it's like a social hour, right? It's I've had a blast playing it, man.
I've seen a lot of gameplay through a friend of mine.
Sure.
Shout out to Darth Maxor. He's actually pro level in the game, so it's quite entertaining to watch. But that's kind of the most of my experience since the DLCs dropped.
Well, everybody was gearing up towards the Athena stuff, right? And then once they've achieved that, it was kind of like, wow. to get to that though, dude, is a grind. Like, it is, the game is an absolute grind, but I'm more there for like the social, you know, grab a beer, sit, relax, play some Sea of Thieves, go get a little seasick, maybe you're drinking on board and having a good time. Man, it just, you never know what you're going to get into, right? And every time you may set out on a quest, but then you're pulled in 5-6 different directions, and then that's your night. You jump in. Like one night Kyle and I were like, hey, want to play Sea of Thieves for an hour? Sure. 3 hours later, right? That's just one of those, man, well, there goes the whole night. That was like, I was like, wow, that wasn't what we should have known better though, man. It's Sea of Thieves. You don't play that game for half an hour. You don't play for an hour. You're in there for the night kind of thing, right? Because
when it hits when it goes good, you're just kind of riding that out.
Absolutely. So we were all over the place. Dude, let's get into the return of Cyberpunk 2077. Patch 1.3 is rather large and comes with some free DLC. Coming to PC, consoles, and Stadia soon. The patch notes Cyberpunk 2077 outline the most significant changes. You will notice a bit of free DLC will be included with the new patch, which consists of alternate appearance of Johnny Silverhand. Why?
Does he look like Bill or Ted from Bill and Ted?
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. The developers have also improved the screen space reflection effect so that it looks less grainy on consoles and lower visual setting qualities on the PC. Increased the number of slots for autosaves from 10 to 20, added new sleeping spots for Nibbles in V's apartment, and thankfully it's now possible to use an elevator while carrying a body. Dude, at the end of the day, does this even matter to you, Scott?
I've been so turned away by the troubles that this game has had launching that it's past the point of curiosity for me, where I'm not even that excited to see what the next step is, for good or for worse.
Sure.
I get annoyed when I see more of this. My immediate reaction to a new patch with free DLC. I said this in the Discord actually. Why doesn't the game come free and then charge those that enjoy it for DLC? At this point, just hand the game over. $5, $10, sure.
Yeah. Northern Nerdcast comments over at twitch.tv/theofficial ITG and says, not worth the reinstall. Right. It got a tainted taste in everybody's mouth now, Scott. We were talking about this just yesterday, actually, and the fact that moving forward with the game, not even with this game, how about the next Witcher game, right? What is that set for a pedigree of, wow, like, do we really trust now within CD Projekt Red to produce a good game, or are they going to rush this one out too? Then that's what we're kind of left with. It's unfortunate because we all were pumped to play Cyberpunk and had high expectations coming off The Witcher 3. Go into this one, well, we all know what kind of mess that ended up being, right? And they're slowly working back to fix it and kind of bring back that fan base, and trust, I think, is the biggest issue now moving forward with CD Projekt Red. And can they handle that? And how do they gain all of us back? Is that enough? Free content? Doesn't matter. At this point, dude, I'm not jumping back into the game. I finished it and I'm done. Like, I won't reinstall it. I don't have the time to go back. I don't feel like going. I just don't feel like going back into that world for all the bugs and issues that brought, and all the sour taste that left in everybody's mouth. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, what's the future look like now, Scott, for The Witcher?
It's a much rockier bet than it would have been 5 years ago. Like CD Projekt Red has just kind of dropped a lot of respect, I think, in a lot of people's eyes. I've joked about why don't they sell The Witcher to Obsidian and just close the doors?
No,
but
that's not.
I mean, that's not the way you resolve things. But I don't have much faith that it's gonna turn out extremely well, unless Witcher 4 is a decade away. It very well could be. Those games are giant.
Yeah, there is. Northern Nerdcast also comments, says there's so much they can still do with Cyberpunk. I don't doubt that, but at this point, I don't want to go back to the original version of the game, right? That's the thing. I just don't want to go back into what that mess was all about. Maybe when they launch Cyberpunk 2078, I don't know. Like, maybe that's a thing, right?
Well, I'm only bothered, and I think most people are only bothered so much because it was something that seemed easily a great series to kick off. It just the subject matter that they had, the world, the characters, the whole kind of backstory behind synthetics in the world. It seemed really cool. I was looking forward to it. I thought it'd be kind of like a Deus Ex, but more action packed. But it just fell flat, and that's why I'm so salty. I was excited.
No, absolutely. A lot of people, I think, I don't even know who's playing it anymore at this point. Like, if you go on Twitch right now, who is streaming this game? Is there a lot of people streaming? I don't know. I'm just curious now, right? Like, I'm just kind of piqued my interest of how many people now are still playing this game. I know Joel, like Nate's brother, has like 200 hours into this game. Like, I know a lot of people have sunk. Yeah, a lot of people really fell in, and they're just kind of dealing with the bugs and the mess, but they still really enjoyed what, you know, the foundation of the game was, and that's the biggest draw for a lot of people.
I'm okay with a little bit of jank, as it were. I like Bethesda games.
I was getting there too.
It's just too much, though. I've seen quest-giving characters literally explode into meat chunks. If you're playing this on Twitch, I kind of hope it's just a compilation of glitches.
Oh man, hopefully they'll get things sorted out and we can have high expectations for The Witcher 4, because man, honestly, I want to get back into The Witcher 3 when they come out with a remaster to that and get into that for next gen, right? It's one of those games I didn't finish, but wow, it was so cool.
I just thought about that. Is it ready? Has it been that long? Time for a remaster on Witcher 3 now?
They're working on a remaster for next gen consoles, for the Xbox Series X and S, as well as the PlayStation 5, right? They're going to come out with enhanced mechanics and rendering and all that, 60 frames per second, I would assume at this point as well. Things along that line. So maybe they can build that trust back by relaunching The Witcher 3, and then they can put us into The Witcher 4, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, man, my brother, he completed Witcher 3 and then went right into the DLC and wrapped those up. And the DLC too, dude, was fantastic. Like, they're 30-40 hours long themselves. And it was just like, wow, what a game. People have like 400 hours into that game. It's just, it is nuts how much.
It's Red Dead Redemption 2 for somebody.
Oh, dude, don't get me going on that game. That game is fantastic. You want to talk about a good game? Shout out to Rockstar. I flipping love those guys over there. That team is incredible. All right, let's move on to something else. Let's move on to the Marvel's Avengers glitch seemingly confirms Scarlet Witch DLC. A glitch recently found in Marvel's Avengers appears to suggest that Wanda Maximoff, the reality-bending mutant known as the Scarlet Witch, may be coming to the game soon as DLC. The glitch appears to have accidentally shown conversation meant for Wanda to a Marvel's Avenger player who was using Thor. Weird, dude.
That's awkward.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. The Twitter account Marvel's Avengers Updates shared a 17-second long clip of the gameplay footage showing a player running around as Thor. The glitch appears when the player enters a room where Zavari is waiting, and the conversation goes on with them talking about, and then Scarlet Witch is kind of glitched in there. Fans already expressed interest in seeing Wanda in Marvel's Avengers, and some have responded positively to this apparent glitch. Dude, I'm curious to see how they're going to bring her in. This is the biggest thing. Every time they bring in a new character for Marvel's Avengers, there's some kind of story content within there as well, right? It could be something short, it could be something big. Like, we got Kate Bishop, it was a short little segment, kind of got us introduced to her character and her mechanics and that kind of thing. War of Wakanda is the biggest DLC drop we've seen for this right now, and Steve and I are working on it. We'll have this up for next week's episode. Dude, this game is big. Like, this DLC is big. There's a lot going on within this one. But when we had Kate Bishop and even Hawkeye come out, Clint Barlow, it wasn't like it was short. It wasn't that long. So I'm kind of thinking that they're going to put Scarlet Witch into that. And then the next major DLC we're going to see is Spider-Man.
Oh, man. Well, I'm really hoping for Spider-Man, because I don't think there's enough Spider-Man media out there. And I think you could be correct, though, just kind of slipping this in as an extra character, because War of Wakanda has been spoken about for a long time before release. and
Absolutely.
it had some well placed hype surrounding it, and that sounded like a lot of good content. So this seems like it would be lesser, but it's good that a lot of people do have that interest in this character, and they have to find a way of introducing her somehow
Yeah.
into the story to make sense. So I'm sure there'll be some sort of mission DLC kind of thing added as well. It's good to see that there's still things being added to this game in general, though, because this had a little bit of a stumble when it came out, I believe.
Oh no, it did. There's no doubt about it, right? Again, it gets back to this games as service model that people are
Yeah.
that developers are taking on, and it's a huge undertaking. It's one to get the base game finished, but then it's the longevity of content that keeps coming, that keeps us as players around, and that's what we've been lacking here, is that lack of content, right? Steve and I are the ones who cover Avengers here on the show, and what happens is we jump in, we placate, we review that, and then we're done, dude. Like, we just don't go back, right? Because there's nothing else to really do. We're doing the same missions over and over, the same grind over and over. I've got Hulk. I've talked about it before. Hulk's at 150, but for what reason? What purpose, right? I got my character maxed at 50, and then his power level's at 150, and I have no particular reason to do so. And then there's this thing they just introduced now, the champion XP, so you can, it's kind of like a prestige in a sense, that you can level that up as well, and then that brings in new abilities and things like that, which is cool. So they're starting now to kind of extend the longevity of the game, and then they launched Black Panther, the War of Wakanda, dude. I'm having a great time so far. Steve's in her. Well, we'll get into that another time. But
I'm worried that there's a bit of an echo here with Anthem, in just that there's not. It's advertised as a game of service. I think that's an interesting idea. I do think that's could lead to some good things, but
absolutely,
I feel compelled to say, back in my day, games came out full and completed.
Absolutely, dude. When you purchased a Nintendo game, that game is done.
And if it was never going to see the internet or an update.
No, exactly, right? And now, because of the way the whole world works and the internet and everything else, it's just, well, we're not finished, but we'll get you with a day one patch. And then we'll get you with another patch, and then another patch. We just talked about CD Projekt Red, patch 1.3, right? That's what they're on right now. And they're working on in the next patch, right? And then free content, this, that, and the other. And Avengers, good on Crystal Dynamics. They brought War of Wakanda for free. No extra charge, no nothing. It was just free for everybody to jump in and play, right? Here's the catch. You ready for this? Within it, every character gets a challenge card. That is where they get you, because I didn't have enough in-game currency and I had to buy the challenge card. Got me.
Well,
got me.
They found a way of doing it. It's not being clotheslined by an EA title.
Yeah, right. It's unfortunate, but that's the way they keep the game going. They keep the game rolling. Everybody wants to play as the Black Panther, and if you have enough in-game currency, you could have bought the challenge card for free. I didn't. I had 400. I didn't have 1,000, so I needed another 600 points. Right? Crap. All right, go to the store, instantly purchased it, and now I'm leveling up my Black Panther. Well, it is what it is. I'm having a good time, so I can't really complain. I don't mind supporting something I'm enjoying, right? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, so I think that's what it comes down to, really, is you can get away with a lot more if the game initially has that push, has that drive and fandom.
Yeah. Scott, I want to talk about Splitgate. Open beta extended for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Right? Splitgate, the free-to-play Halo meets Portal arena shooter, has enjoyed a rather successful open beta over the past few weeks. Hundreds of thousands of players have been having fun with Portals, and the full launch was supposed to kick off in July. However, developer 1047 Games postponed the release to this month to bolster servers strained by the high player count. Now, we're mostly through August. 1047 has provided an unexpected update. Instead of going 1.0 soon, Splitgate will remain in open beta indefinitely. It's kind of like Fortnite.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Right? Honestly, it is. That's kind of... Why not? Do you need to actually launch a game? Scott, we just talked about it, dude. Patches. You just keep patching the game. You don't need to actually release the full game anymore these days.
Yeah, it can be early access forever, as we've seen in other cases. I didn't think about Fortnite, but that is funny and actually very equatable, I think.
Well, it's just where we're at right now these days, right? We're just work on your game. But here's 1047 Games. I'm assuming, and you should never assume. Well, whatever, it is what it is. But I think they're a small studio, right? but you need to keep the lights on. How do you keep the lights on? You keep your game going, keep it out there, right? You keep pushing it further and further and further. You keep updating the game. That's how you keep players engaged. You keep them involved. You keep them wanting coming back. Dude, there's a battle pass in the game. You can buy it. I took a look at it. It is nothing special, unfortunately.
No.
Right?
Yeah, I haven't seen much monetization in this game, actually. I've played a little bit of the beta so far and I've had a good time. But what are they going to do to keep that income going? Is it going to be... Am I going to be able to get a giant banana suit for my character?
Hopefully not, man. According to the press release from the studio, keeping the game in beta for the longer haul will allow it more time to continue improving the game's infrastructure to ensure it's fully ready for premiere when the day comes. So they have no expectations of when that day actually is now. They're supposed to launch it this month, and then they push it to later, and then it's just... whatever. In looking at the issue facing the scalability of the game's backend, the process includes far more than simply dealing with server capacity, says 1047 CEO Ian Prue. Dude, games aren't easy, and when you get a huge influx like that, there's got to be other complications that come into the game. So whatever, everybody's on it, man. Everybody's playing this game. I was playing the game with my kids. I'm having a great time. Game's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it's not in full release now, because as far as I can see from the outside, looking in, it seems to be just about there. So
exactly,
I wonder what this will really entail. Of course, they have to deal with the huge influx of players, and I like that they're prioritizing that instead of letting servers get out of hand or having a login timer, a queue timer.
Oh man,
I've seen a little bit of that, but it's good that they're addressing that issue, because this game was, as far as I know, a runaway hit.
Absolutely. I think it's very polished. I think everything feels great. The gun mechanics work. The portals work. Like, everything is smooth within the game, and I'm having fun. I haven't seen any glitches, Scott. Like, I haven't seen anything terrible whatsoever within the game. So it does feel like it's at that polished state, right? Like, it's got to be close to that 1.0. But it's their server right now is getting the servers ready and up and running, and make sure all the back end hardware and stuff is set ready to go for the player count, because what they have, like 2 million downloads in 14 days. So I think that took them by surprise, but it says something about the game. So if you haven't checked out Splitgate, it's there. You can still download it right now. I highly recommend you go do so. But Scott, why don't we get into what games are out for today?
Alrighty, we have a few of them here.
Yes,
there is Arietta of Spirits. That is for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Then we have, this one I think is exciting for you specifically, Ghosts of Tsushima Director's Cut, and that's on PlayStation 4 and 5.
That's right. Go check out my review, InsideTheGame.ca. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss this new update. Iki Island is awesome.
I'm just, I still don't have a PlayStation. I'm hoping that it comes out on Xbox or PC eventually.
No, PC, maybe. So, okay, we talked about this just last week, Scott, right? The fact that Sony is teamed up with other people to release new... Last week, either way, they've teamed up with Nexus, I think it is, to bring their titles over to PC, right? And I think you can see Ghost of Tsushima come over to PC. I think that's a great fit. I know a lot of people like yourself missed out because it's on the PlayStation console. Dude, you bring this over with the Iki Island DLC, you bring the director's cut, you're in. Like, dude, you will be so... Oh, absolutely. You'll be hooked forever. This game is fantastic. It's got such a unique and accessible gameplay mechanic to it, and there's the different stances between who you're fighting against. Some will have shields, some will have spears, or just swords, and you got to change your game mechanic between those so you can counter those abilities, right? And then the art style, man, that art style, dude, is vibrant. It's so lush. It is. Yeah, I could keep going for hours, Scott, but we don't have that kind of time.
No, that is one of the best looking games I've seen in quite some time. It kind of reminds me of Sekiro, but a little more forgiving, which is a step in the right direction, I believe.
It's a lot more forgiving. I'll give you that.
Now, lastly, for releases today, we have Madden NFL 22, and that is on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox, family of consoles, Stadia, and PC.
Oh, it did make its way to Stadia.
Included there. Yeah.
I was curious to see if it made it there or not. So, yeah, it sounds like it did. But, Scott, guess what, buddy? That's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. As always, you can join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, as well as YouTube. You can follow me over on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28. You can follow Scott at Savage. If you can't follow us live, then hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, TV, streaming networks around the globe. Go follow the official ITG as well over on Twitter. Help support us over there. Until next week, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you inside the game.